Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here, and I'm especially excited to start a new month of broadcasting for you. In light of Mother's Day, our theme this month, can you guess, is self care. And if you are a mom like me, please pay close attention. This whole month I am dedicating to really making a tribute to you, really acknowledging you for all and everything that you are doing for others. Okay, so please know that I have every intention to send you all the acknowledgement, the good vibes, and everything, well, blessings as well. Great job for doing what you're doing. So, this week, I want to start our conversation all about self care. I already said that, right? And how to really manage everything that's going on in our lives. As you notice, I did not say the word balance. I don't believe it really exists because here's the thing, this past year, if it taught you anything, there's nothing normal about having kids running around the house. There's nothing normal about always meeting people on Zoom, right? But this is our new normal. And so when we talk about balance, it doesn't really exist. And even if you visualize balance, I see a scale of it being completely balanced from left to right, right? And I don't believe it exists. For that reason is because, as a mom, I know there are times where I'm completely off so that I can tend to my sick kid. And then there are times where I'm working late hours so that way I can be with my kids. So it's definitely more of the conversation around integration and then working with what you have and managing what you have so that way you can stay consistent and connected with yourself in the process. And I honestly, thinking about the content I want to share with you this week brought me back pretty far to the beginning of my business. And I was inspired to launch my coaching business for so many reasons. But ultimately, it came down to that me wanting to have the flexibility with my family, have the time freedom to work for myself and do what I want, but also create a scalable business that is going to support my family and my lifestyle. So, and especially lately, as you have heard me already, I'm juggling many projects simultaneously. It has been quite challenging to manage it all. So I have to really tap back into the fundamentals of what's really keeping me going and how am I taking care, of myself and what are the non-negotiables. And I can tell you when we begin talking about self care, you have to have a list of non negotiables. And for me, why I created this business, why I do what I do, everything is all around prioritizing myself and my family. So, for those of you who've started a business just to make money, all power to you. It's great. The money is great, but I can tell you that you don't have the income just so that you can be buying all the materialistics or something like that. You just didn't start a business for the money. So it's really important for you to think about, have I really designed my business to serve me? And you are creating a business to serve you. And if you haven't heard that concept yet, you are to build a business to serve you and your priorities, not the other way around. Okay. That is what, I really want to hone in and to really share that if you are just in it for the money, you're hustling, I can guarantee you, based on firsthand experience, I've done it before, you can only hustle for so long. I give you 3 years, maximum 5 years, you'll be burnt out. And your future might just look like going back to get a corporate job. So I'm saying all of this not to be condescending or none of that, but just to really remind you that business is a long run. Business is a long run. There's an ultimate vision that you're trying to fulfill. But before you get there, before you can even get there, you have to have a system where you take care of yourself, and that then so you then can do the work of whatever it is that needs to be done to get you there, because otherwise you're going to be burned out. So imagine if you want to drive, I don't know, 5,000 mile or 10,000 miles with a car that has flat tires. You're not going to go very far. Like, you can already visualize that. So same thing here. If you're the business owner and you're burnt out and you're overwhelmed and you're frustrated, and so what are the actions that is a result of that, right? You already know. So my advice for you, especially if you're a working mom like me, is to make sure that, especially if you have young children always screaming out, "Mama, mama, mama, mama," you have to prioritize yourself. And if you are in a place where you feel burnt out between work and family, chances are 98% of times is that you're not focusing on taking care of yourself. Period. Again, I learned it from my own experience. I've been working with clients the same way. When their business is plateauing, or when their business is inconsistent, or when when they seem to be frustrated when things are not working or don't seem to be working, it's because they are not taking care of themselves. And I rebranded to Fit to Profit for that reason. After a first couple of years working with business owners just strictly on business strategy, how to build brick and mortars and things like that, I had a real conversation with some of the business owners I was working with, and they are not producing the results that they want. And the real conversation was that they are burnt out, and they were just basically hiding behind being busy and things like that, not dealing with whatever situations that they have personally with their friends and family, and just basically on overdrive the whole way, and were just really working the business on willpower, and that's why it wasn't working. So Fit to Profit was established on the basis of really teaching entrepreneurs how to be physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually fit so that you can run successful businesses. So I promise you, for every episode, I'm going to be sharing tips and tools so that way you can really apply in your life. So I have some tips for you in terms of how to get yourself centered, how to take care of yourself on a very basic level so that you can continue to do what you need to do to be successful in your life and business. So the first tip is, you probably have heard it before, to get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night. I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. And you have to make it a priority. You have to make it a priority. Imagine when you're taken care of, what kind of mood are you in? Like when you have enough sleep, like what's the ability of making decisions you have, right? Like, I know some of you guys are night owls, and I can tell you, going to bed late at night, and it's really affects your ability to function the next morning. I don't know about you, but I'm very irritable. Like, I get really irritated when and really easily, distracted when I don't have enough sleep. And that becomes a mountain of guilt and self-doubt, because I am not attending to my business, nor I am being a good mom. And so that piles up to be a mountain of guilt after a while. So that I don't, and then I carry that around as baggage. And so my day is already distorted. It's already out of alignment. So really make a conscious effort. It depends. Like for you, you may be good with, don't get me wrong. I have a girlfriend of mine. She's a mom of two little ones, but she doesn't need more than 4 hours of sleep. It could be you, but make an intention to really know how much sleep do you need. For me, it's between 7 and 8. Depends on how busy I am and things like that. So make it a priority to get enough sleep. Okay. Secondly, as a mom and as a business owner, super important for you to plan out your week. You may feel like you don't have enough time, and things like that. But I tell you, otherwise, you're going to be scrambling what to do the next day. For example, if you don't plan, you probably perhaps maybe have a rough like to-do list, right? And then so when you start your day, you looking at the to-do list, and then you have to select to see, okay, which item am I going to be doing? Do I need anything for any of the tasks that I need to be doing? Honestly, that's how I used to operate. That takes me 20 minutes every single day, time wasted. So I suggest for you to plan your week on the last day of work, on the last hour of work for the following week. I usually do my weekly planning Friday night. An hour of work with for me would, I take usually half day off on Fridays, at around 3 o'clock. So I already know what's going to happen next week. I go into the weekend really excited about what's in store for next week. And then I feel really confident as well. And I don't have to worry about what's in my head. It's already purged. I already put down my to do list. I already know what I'm going to be doing. I can then actually be present and enjoy my time with my family. So make the effort to plan. Make the effort to plan. And a small tip here, if you are a novice planner, it's called time blocking. So I encourage you to block out time to work on similar activities together. For example, if you are going to have meetings, I have team meetings all day, usually on Mondays, because that's I want to get everybody on the same page, and then we have the week to work on whatever that we need to work on. And I see clients on specific days back to back. I do have breaks in between, to be healthy, so I can really focus. But I see clients back to back because I'm working on similar activities. And the whole benefit to it, if you already know, as much as we really believe that we can multitask, we're not as effective as if we were focusing on one task at a time, similar tasks. And here's why. It takes time for you to transition from, for example, speaking to writing, or or going into meeting, things like that. You're working different parts of your brain. I'm not going to take like time for technicality here or getting specific, but just know that when you have to transition from doing one task to the next task, when they're not similar tasks, your brain needs time to make that adjustment and transition. So therefore, your focus level is not the same, and you're not as efficient. Okay. So plan out your week, try on the time chunking method, as a first, tool that you're going to be using. Next, take time to breathe. You may say, here she goes again. She's that like health and wellness guru, or it's not that. Like, I'm not talking about meditation. You don't have to meditate. It's literally taking the time just to be present with yourself. I highly recommend 2 minutes, just literally 2 minutes. Just take the time to arrive to whatever event it is, whether it's a meeting, a client session, a speaking engagement, a workshop, whatever it is that you are doing. Give yourself 2 minutes just to gather yourself, like transition, gather yourselves. And you know what? Really, it's interesting. I want to share too that kids do that like actually very well. I don't know. My daughter, we just got through, end of the school year teacher conference, and one of the comments that the teachers make was like, she is great with everything. And it seems like she really likes to take her time transitioning between the next thing, the next activity. And I was like, wow, like that's so great. If we can learn anything from a 4.5 year old, that's something I need to learn. So just to, and but once she's in it, she's like giving it 100%. So same concept. It's like you have to give yourself the time, the breather time, the recovery time to adjust and to the next task. So 2 minutes. That's not a lot of time. You can start with that. And then you'll know that there's a difference of you in terms of energy, clarity, and joy, to be really honest. Like when I have time to take a breath, I get to be in my body and I really get connected to what it is that I'm really doing. So, taking time to breathe or really slowing things down works miracles. Okay. And then this is probably no secret, right? That take 15 minutes to do something outside every single day. Every single day. Even for me, sometimes on days it would be going out into the car and driving to get my daughter. Her school is literally 3 miles away, so it's only a 7-minute drive. But I get to be outside. I get to walk, to be in the sun, whatever it may be. I highly recommend you 15 minutes outside doing something you like. Like for me, I love exercising outside when it's not too hot. DC is getting pretty hot right now. So running outside, doing something outside, being outside in nature. Because guess what? Within the past year, everything is inside. We're on Zoom meetings, all of the things that we need to do inside. Take 15 minutes for yourself going outside. That is going to be another key to create that balance. I can get technical too. You get more vitamin D. That's good for your bone health and regulates, a sleep wake cycle, all of the goodness that you can ever imagine from getting outside for 15 minutes a day. Okay. In relation to what we're talking about of being outside, I recommend is also really simple. Eat your lunch elsewhere besides your desk, right? It's really easy to be, oh, I'm just going to, have a snack and then I'm just going to, reply to this email really quick while, I'm waiting for my food to cool down, something like that. And then you have the habit of eating by your desk. No, eat lunch at the table. Eat lunch preferably with your family. If your kids or if your husband works from home or your partner or whoever it is, your roommates, we need connection. And really take time to have your lunch away from your desk. Last but not least, my favorite, okay, my favorite is reflection time. Reflection time. Do you have a self-care routine that nurtures you? And true story, I recently discovered it's now my newfound favorite thing to do to take care of myself is taking a bubble bath. Interestingly, I have had clients who have gifted me bubble bath bombs and things like that. Not until recently, last month, when I was going through a leadership program, and they said, it's a hard couple of days. One of your requirements of your homework is to take a bubble bath. And you know what? I did it. And it's like the time for me to reflect, like to really take in to see, what's happening. So reflection time and self-care goes together, like in that activity. So figure out what kind of self-care routine you need, and can you take the time to then use that as reflection? Or it could be just journaling. Hey, listen, journaling works for me, it may not work for you. That's totally fine. Reflection could be, going taking the time to have a conversation with, with a friend, or and just being with yourself and allowing yourself to process, how work is going, how what life is happening, like if life is happening the way you want it to, and things like that. These are the tips for you. I honestly feel like these are very fundamental to all of it. And I can tell you, it may sound easier said than done. I'm saying that with a lot of compassion because I am guilty, you know, oftentimes when I'm going through a busy phase of my business and the exercise might trail off or something like that. But know that you can always recommit. Check back on one of the episodes I talk about. It's not about consistency, it's about commitment or recommitment. So that's those are my tips for you. So I invite you to really reflect, right? Key step, reflect on how are you really taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself? Right? Are you, chances are, if you constantly are saying, I'm overwhelmed, I'm frustrated, I am tired, I'm irritable, like I am, just then it's time to really slow down and focus on you. You cannot operate on an empty cup. You cannot. One day it's going to drain out and everything is going to, be chaotic, that is going to be unbearable and unmanageable. So that's what I have for you. I would love to hear about your self care routines. I am, again, still practicing it. I would love ideas on how you do it. And so maybe I can learn a different way, a fun way to take care of myself. So check us out on our Facebook group, Authentic Entrepreneurs, and share, join our group and share your information of how you take care of yourself. And, let's stay connected. This whole month is very, important to me, in terms of what I'm inspired to do this month. Number one, prioritize myself because it's Mother's Day. And I'm also excited to be sharing another show I'm putting together as well, an online show, sneak peek, in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. But until next week, I wish you a happy, happy, happy Mother's Day. Take care of yourself, put yourself first, and I'll see you next week.